humans! Today I'm going to do a January wrap up because shit, I have read a shitload of books this month. I've read 9 books, or at least some I've finished, some I have already started and just finished and read so much, and I've neglected sleep and I've neglected school and I've neglected social life, but oh, whatever, because I'm almost a quarter way to my year goal, which is 40 books. But let's get started. The first book I've read this year, I've actually just put it off to reading until New Year because I want it to be my first book of the year. So I've started it January 1st because I knew that I was going to love it and I wanted to have it in this year and start off my reading year really good. And this book is Crooked Kingdom by Leigh Bardugo, and I absolutely adore this book so much, so much. Oh my lord, yes, I love this book so much. This is the second book of the Six of Crows duology by Leigh Bardugo, and it's just fantastic. I was such a fan of Six of Crows and I did not know where I was hoping that this would be just as good, but it was even better, and I was like, yes. And after this book, oh boy, yeah, this is a fantastic book and I'm so glad that I started off my reading year with Crooked Kingdom. Second book which I read this month is Shadow and Bone by Leigh Bardugo, because when I finished Crooked Kingdom I was like, Leigh Bardugo is so amazing, I need to read more of her. So I thought I would pick up the Grisha trilogy. I was always thinking about whether I should really pick up the Grisha trilogy because I've heard positive things about it, sure, but they all say that it's not as good as the Six of Crows duology. Personally, I agree, it's not as good as the Six of Crows duology, but that's also because these are the first books of Leigh Bardugo and she has made great writing progress. So yeah, and I've read this and I've enjoyed it, but I did have my problems in the ending. The last bit was just a bit meh, and I was a bit underwhelmed with the ending of this book, but I'm still a fan of the characters, especially the Darkling. I don't even care, don't look at me like that. That book which I read this month, and it took me so long to read this, and it is Game of Thrones by George R.R. Martin, and lord, I needed long to read this book. I've been reading this since October, but that's because I never really only read a Game of Thrones book, because these are just books which I read by the way, and especially travel books. It was a good book. It was a really good book, I think. I really admire George R.R. Martin's writing abilities and world building abilities, but these books are just, they don't really tie me to the pages. I don't really want to binge read them, but they're really interesting, but still a lot is going on and it's not really a relaxing read. So this is why I'm not really good at reading these books. But I'm finished and now I have only 4 books to go. So many of my characters will die. Another book which I finished this month is Lord of the Flies by William Golding, and I read this at school, and usually I don't really count my school books to my reads of the year, but I did it with this one because I think Lord of the Flies is a really good read and so meaningful, and it is such a good book to read at school because you can just analyze everything. Everything has a meaning, every sentence, the way the words are just everything. And William Golding did such a great job, and the question that is asked in this book is so important. Well, I thought about it a lot, but there's no answer to it, but I really liked the aspects of this book. It was a fantastic school book. I loved reading it at school. Next book I have read this month is in German, and in German it's called Gefangen zwischen den Welten, which means As Much As Trapped Between Worlds by Sarah Oliver. I believe this is her debut novel, and I think it is a German author because I haven't heard anything of this book in English because my mom has given it to me for Christmas. So I'm working on my TBR shelves, so I'm really trying to read everything. So I've read this, but it's absolutely horrible. I gave it 1 star. I gave it 1 star on Goodreads. It's about this girl who gets somehow into a parallel universe where she meets her doppelganger, which is an annoying character. Her father has been kidnapped, and the father of her doppelganger as well, which is an aspect that is just not dealt with really in the book, and she's like not worried. The characters were so cringy and not fully developed, and I did not have a lot of expectations. Really not. I didn't expect it to blow me away, but it was even underwhelming for my expectations. And the romance is lame, and the title doesn't make sense because she's not trapped. She can go back into her world anytime she wants, and she's just being melodramatic. This book I have read this month is also a book my mom got me for Christmas a year ago, and it is in German called Was uns bleibt ist jetzt by Meg Walsinger. I believe in English this is called Balzar. I found it on Goodreads under the name Balzar. And this was the most disappointing read ever. Okay, plot. A girl gets sent into a special type of boarding school because her boyfriend has died and she's depressed, and in this school she gets to attend a special class with only 4 other people, and then they get these diaries, and when they write into the diaries she gets to go into a place called Belzar where she can meet with her dead boyfriend, where she can basically live through the past. This book had so much potential. It had so much potential. I expected so much because the story could have been so good. It could have been a story about love and loss and how to deal with it and friendship. And it was just disappointing. It was just so disappointing. It just ended up there was a huge plot twist in the end, which was just making the girl seem really psycho and like she has quite a few problems. And the characters were not fully developed in this book. They were just given one trait, and then they were just basically that one trait, that one characteristic of them was their entire personality. For example, there is one grumpy character which I really liked until I found out that basically there's nothing to his character other than grumpiness. And the plot, also meh. And just the romance, meh. So, the next book I've read this month is Siege and Storm by Lee Bardugo. This is the second book of the Grisha trilogy, which I have started this month. This book, I kind of liked the ending. Well, the very end, it was still a bit okay, but shortly before the ending, it was really good then. I really liked it. I really liked the new aspect. First 100 pages were really interesting. Then it gets a bit boring. Like in the middle it gets kind of a bit boring, and okay, I do not like Mal that much. You might have guessed. And I love the Darkling, this is why I'm just a bit meh. But this was definitely better than Shadow and Bone. This month is super short, and that's The Alchemist by Paulo Coelho, whatever. This is a book, well, with a lot of wisdom in it, about a shepherd who needs to find his way in life and who dreams twice the same dream and then decides to follow that dream. Lots of wisdom, only like 170 pages. I read it really fast because how can you not? Yeah, this was an okay read. I enjoyed it. I did not love it, but it has quite some wisdom in it. So the book I've read this month, and I'm super proud that I actually managed to finish it this month. Oh, well, last month basically, because today is February. Never mind. So it's Illuminate. Yeah. I've had super high expectations in this book because everyone is like, oh my god, Illuminate! Illuminate is super good. Illuminate is fantastic. And yeah, I enjoyed it. I gave it 4 stars, but not a 5 stars because it was really hard for me to get into. It took me surely 300 pages. The story I found enjoyable. It wasn't the best story I have ever read. I'm not that big of a science fiction reader. There were some plot twists and some things I did not expect, and some aspects I really loved about this book. Oh my god, there are so much in this book, so much pictures and everything and black pages, and oh, I've never read a book like that, and that was such a great aspect. I really loved that. Romance was okay, the language was it was like people talk. It was realistic, and I loved Aiden's language because his language is just poetic. It's so poetic, and the black pages are the best thing for me. Maybe I'm going to do a review about Illuminate because otherwise I do not get to say everything I'd like to. So yeah, these were my books which I have read this year. Yeah, that's actually the truth. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video, and maybe you've read some of the same books. You can tell me down in the comments how you liked these books, if you even know these books, because some of them are in German and pretty shit. But never mind, I've read amazing books and not so amazing books this month. But yeah, goodbye.